Howdy folks. So in this episode, I'm going to teach you how I feed my starter. So you're obviously going to need your sourdough starter, an empty mason jar, a stirring utensil, a scale. You're going to want some organic rye flour. If you can't find this at your local store, just get it off Amazon. Unbleached bread flour, and then natural spring water. Once again, very important that you get natural spring water and not other water. And then obviously a scale. So all we're going to do to feed our starter here is we're going to put our empty jar on the scale and turn it on, or you can turn it on and put it on there and then tear the scale. And all we're going to do is we're going to add 100 grams of starter. And you want to feed your starter about, I feed it about every week. You can stretch it a little longer, do a little shorter, but around once a week. You know, if you're going to be gone for longer than that, maybe you can drop it at a friend's house, have them feed it for you or something like that. So I'm going to start with right about 100 grams. And very important to make sure your scale is on the right measurement. So we'll go for about 100 grams. Closely. Like I said in my other videos, these kitchen scales aren't, you know, unless you get a super fancy one, aren't going to be the most accurate thing in the world, plus or minus a couple grams. This one says 102. That's totally fine. And then what we're going to do is we're going to tear the scale, because now we need to add 120 grams of our natural spring water. So we're going to add that. And then what you're also going to find is we used, like I said, 100 grams of that starter, and so we've got some left over. And so what we can do with that is keep it in a discard container, you know, label it as a discard. So what I do, I've always got one in my fridge. You can see it's called discard, and you can make all kinds of great things with your discard. You can make biscuits. I love to use it to make pizza dough. There's all kinds of possibilities on the internet for sourdough discard recipes. So, you know, what's remaining in your starter, just make sure you can keep that and use it. And if you don't want to use it, then go ahead and just toss it. So we got our starter in here, our 100 grams of starter, and our 120 grams of the natural spring water. Now what we're going to do is we just want to kind of mix that up a bit. Make sure that's nice and mixed, just like that. And now what we'll do is we'll tear this. And we need 120 grams of flour. Now, or I'm sorry, 100 grams of flour. So what I always do is I start with about 75 grams of just the bread flour. So we're gonna go in here with about 75 grams. Doesn't have to be perfect. 80, good enough. And then the rest of that 100 grams, I'm going to use the organic rye flour. Now the reason we use that organic rye flour is using rye flour is supposed to yield just more yeast. So hope you get a little, help your sourdough feed a bit better. All right, so there is a little bit more. 100 grams of flour total. Like I said, for this specific one, I've got 80 grams of the bread flour and 20 grams of the rye flour. You can do 75, 25. You'll have to play with it a little bit, decide what you like best. And then we are done with the scale. So we're just going to take this now and mix it all together. So just give that a bit of a mix. You can kind of look around the sides, see if you got everything. Doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to go crazy with it, and just make sure it's all incorporated together. And then what we're gonna do, this is where you see in a lot of videos where someone will take a rubber band and put it around the glass. So what you can do is you can put a rubber band around the glass as to where the top of the line is. So for this, I'd put it, you know, like right here where the top of my solution is. And what you want is for that starter to double in size and then let it drop back down to wherever your rubber band is. That normally takes about 24 hours. For me personally, I don't put the rubber band on it. I just take this and I put my top, I don't even screw it on, I just kind of set my top on. I put this in the corner of my kitchen for 24 hours and then I come back and I just put it in the fridge. And what you can always do is you can just check visually and see, okay, did it go, you know, I know I'm here right now, did it visually look like, you know, there's residue on the jar to show me that it went up that high. Maybe in the beginning as you're getting used to feeding your starter, throw a rubber band on here, you know, check it and make sure in 12 hours that it looks like it's about doubled in size. Keep it out until it drops back down to where it was originally. Like I said, that's about 24 hours. And then you can fully cover it, tighten down your lid, keep it in your fridge. And like I said, you want to feed it, do this every week or so, every 7 days, 7 to 10, 11 days, something like that. And in the meantime, you can use the starter for all of your sourdough recipes. This is gonna be enough to make 2 loaves of bread if you use the recipe that I use, and still have 100 grams left to do a feeding your sourdough like we did in this video. So this is gonna be enough for, like I said, 2 loaves of bread and doing a feeding. So simple as that, folks. You know, like 100 grams of starter, 120 grams of natural spring water, and 100 grams of flour.